Imagine this. You're sitting in church on a Sunday morning, surrounded by family and friends, listening to quiet prayers, when suddenly, the sound of shattering glass and twisting metal rips through the air. A car crashes into the building, and before anyone can understand what's happening, gunfire erupts. In an instant, a place of peace turns into a scene of horror. This nightmare became reality for worshippers in Grand Blanc, Michigan, when a violent attack shook the very heart of their community. Stay with us to uncover what really happened inside that church, and the chilling detail about the suspect that investigators only revealed later. Tell us in the comments, should places of worship in America have armed security guards, or would that change the spirit of these sacred spaces? And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss crucial updates on breaking stories like this one. On what should have been an ordinary Sunday morning, worshipers gathered at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc. Families were seated together, children whispered prayers, and the service had just begun. Then, chaos. Police say the suspect, identified as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, deliberately drove his vehicle into the church building. The crash tore through the sanctuary, sending wooden splinters and glass flying. Witnesses described the sound as an explosion from nowhere, but the horror didn't stop there. According to investigators, Sanford then exited the vehicle armed with a firearm. Without hesitation, he opened fire on the congregation. People scrambled to the ground, screaming and searching for cover. Parents shielded their children, while others tried to find exits amid the confusion. Within moments, 2 lives were tragically lost. At least 8 others were struck by bullets or injured in the mayhem. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, pulling survivors from the wreckage and rushing the wounded to nearby hospitals. Several victims remain in critical condition, fighting for their lives. Survivors describe a scene of sheer terror. One witness said, "It didn't feel real. I thought it was a drill, until I saw blood and people falling to the ground. That's when I realized this is happening, right here, right now." Another church member recalled how silence fell for just a split second after the crash, before gunfire erupted. "It was the longest second of my life. I grabbed my daughter and we hid behind the pews. I just prayed we'd make it out alive." These first-hand accounts paint a devastating picture of the fear and confusion that swept through the congregation. Local police and emergency crews responded within minutes. Officers quickly entered the building, secured the area, and confronted the suspect. Sanford was taken into custody on the scene without further casualties. Officials praised the rapid response of law enforcement, saying their quick action likely prevented even greater loss of life. At a press briefing, police confirmed Sanford's identity and outlined the basic timeline of events. However, they also emphasized that the motive remains unclear, and investigators are now working to piece together why Sanford targeted this specific church. The attack has left the Grand Blanc community shaken to its core. Neighbors gathered outside the church, many holding candles and embracing one another in grief. Religious leaders across Michigan have spoken out, condemning the violence and urging communities to come together in prayer and resilience. One local pastor said, "When violence enters a sacred place, it strikes not just at individuals, but at the heart of who we are as a community. We must grieve, but we must also stand united." Social media has been flooded with messages of support, prayers, and calls for action. Many are demanding stronger safety measures for churches and other religious institutions, while others stress the importance of mental health awareness and prevention. This tragedy raises pressing questions about security in houses of worship. Across the United States, attacks on churches, synagogues, and mosques have tragically become more frequent in recent years. Experts point out that while these places are meant to be open and welcoming, their openness also makes them vulnerable. Some argue for increased police presence, security cameras, or even armed guards at services. Others worry that such measures would change the spirit of worship and create fear instead of peace. The debate is now front and center again in Michigan and across the nation. So who is Thomas Jacob Sanford? Investigators have revealed that Sanford is a 40-year-old local resident. Early reports suggest he had no direct connection to the church itself, though this has not yet been fully confirmed. What is emerging, however, is that Sanford may have displayed troubling behavior in the weeks leading up to the attack. Neighbors described him as withdrawn and angry. though no one expected such extreme violence. Authorities are now digging into his background, checking for prior incidents, criminal records, and any signs of radicalization or mental instability. Officials have made it clear, uncovering Sanford's motive will be key not only for justice, but also for helping prevent future tragedies. And here's the detail investigators quietly confirmed. Sanford may have been involved in a series of disturbing incidents prior to the attack, incidents that never escalated to violence until now. What those incidents were, and why they weren't seen as a warning sign, is the question haunting this investigation. This chilling fact leaves a community asking, could this have been prevented? Comment below. Do you think warning signs are often missed before tragedies like this? Subscribe to stay with us, because as soon as investigators release new details about Sanford's past and the possible motive, we'll bring them straight to you. Did you know that over 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed to the channel? We totally get it, life gets busy, and sometimes it's easy to forget. But here's the thing, subscribing is completely free, and it really helps us keep creating the content you enjoy. So why not hit that subscribe button and join our community? It only takes a second, but it makes a world of difference to us. Thank you for your support.